That was close. Whew. Just adrenaline running so high. Heart about to break, then put back together, then almost broken again, then finally put back together. What a roller coaster ride that game was. What's going on, everybody? Glad that you're all back to watch this video. I'm glad the Bills won. It was just so relieving to see that the Bills still have some fight in them, or some sort of heart. It was a good answer, a good response after coming off 2 beatdowns. They come back, they beat Arizona, who hasn't lost at home in over a year. They had won 8 or 9 straight at home. Beat them in overtime. Probably shouldn't have gotten that far, but it did, and they prevailed. I was there. If you watched the video last week, you know I was there. I still have the ticket here somewhere. There she is. And it was unbelievable time. Here's some pictures. Take a look at some of these, and a couple of them we're attempting to do the Bernie, if you're familiar with Weekend at Bernie's. But that was just some fun outside the hotel before the game. Weather was gorgeous, as you can tell, 95 degrees on game day, just beautiful. They don't open the roof very often, I guess, at University of Phoenix Stadium. It's too hot, simply. It was a comfortable temperature inside, and I can't complain. I had a blast. Honestly, I was only out there from Friday until Monday, but it was an absolute blast time of my life with a bunch of good friends, some good people. So, and then the Bills won, which just put it over the top. One thing I noticed, it seems like, again, I'm not calling out Cardinals fans, but maybe indirectly, some of them, I'm calling them out. When I went to Cleveland, the fans were brutal. They abused my friends and I as we walked into the stadium. Cardinals fans didn't even care. A couple of them, yeah. Said some things, had some conversations, but for the most part, they were just too relaxed, like, oh, yeah, we're in Arizona. We don't care. Like, that kind of attitude. Was not impressed with some of the fans. After the game, some of the fans were a little bit more upset. I had somebody confront me over something that didn't even happen. I actually didn't even say anything to him, and he asked me what I said, or if I had anything to say. So I said scoreboard, which wasn't brilliant because that put him over the top. It was interesting. But that was pretty much the only one who was overly, eccentric. A little disappointed with the fans in Arizona. But there were a lot of Bills fans, which was just awesome. And we were all nervous, believe me. We came out of the game, we're going into the game, and it gets underway, and we fumble the first play, and it's just, oh my God. Here we go again. But then you get a 3-and-out, they kick a field goal, you're down 3-0. Then the Bills start moving around a little bit. I mean, Fitz was still pretty bad at times. He left some first downs on the field, overshooting receivers at the sideline again, overshooting Johnson, and I'm there, and I'm behind the Bills sideline about 28 rows. You could see Johnson. Johnson one time put his helmet up on the Gatorade cooler and put his head down. Or I don't know if he put his head down, but he was frustrated, visibly frustrated with the way things were going offensively. Defense came through. I don't care that the Cardinals' offensive line is terrible. Yep, you can tell me that all you want. I don't care. You play who you play. They played an inferior offensive line, and they dominated. Marvin Williams, Chris Kelsey, Darius, Kyle Williams. Excellent job. They get a safety. Bills come back, score a touchdown off of that. It looks like I just felt like the Bills were going to win at that moment. Arizona comes back and eventually scores a touchdown. it was a zone, and Burnett got tied up on Fitzgerald. That happens. Shouldn't happen, but he was in the slot, and they scored. But even at halftime, 10-9, I still felt like the Bills had a good shot at winning the game because they were that close. But they had been bad in the second half previously in the past couple of weeks, so I was hoping for not another repeat performance of that. But they came out and they played pretty well. I don't know what the NFL was looking at or what the referees were looking at on that fourth down call. I know that was a pretty big deal. It looked like he was clearly short, but they gave him the first down. I think they would have went for it anyway and just fallen forward, gotten the first down. I'm not been out of shape about it. Referees didn't have an impact on the game. It was sloppy at times, but hard fought as well. The Bills tried to give the game away, as they always do. I mean, there's Arizona fans in there just at the end, towards the end, just dumbfounded, like looks like this, laughing, going crazy because they can't believe the situation they're in. The Bills were up 16-13. Brad Smith, oh my God. Oh, that was dumb. C.J. Spiller was wide open in the flat, first of all. I know that play's probably designed to score a touchdown. I just don't get why. You're beating them with the run. You're beating them with it. And then you go and do that. Whatever. Yeah, I think it's a dumb call. But Gailey said after the game, if it works, you don't call it a dumb call. You call it brilliant. And that's just that's just the nature of the league and the way it is. But like I said, Arizona fans are just going crazy. They can't believe that they're in this position after they kick a 61-yarder to tie it, which you knew was going in. Come on. You knew it. You wasn't going to miss that in a dome. Whatever. A side note, it took the Cardinals 29 seconds. 29 seconds. They kicked the 61-yarder. There's a minute 9 left on the clock. They kick off. Sack Fitzpatrick. Run. Timeout each time. Punt. Penalty on Gilmore, which was iffy, but he grabbed the jersey, so I guess they call it. And then play to Fitzgerald down to the 20. All that took 29 seconds off the clock. 29. It took them 29 seconds to kick a field goal, get the ball back, and get in field goal range. 29 seconds. Which was pathetic. And that's why I thought the Bills were going to lose. I mean, I'm sitting there like, this is average. Like I said, the Arizona fans are going wild. Like, they can't believe this is happening. The group that I'm with, this is what happens. This is the crap we go through and have been going through for years. And then Alex Carrington miraculously gets a hand on the ball. Probably got a good push from Kelvin Shepard, who played better this week. I know I've been hard on him lately, but he played better. And it goes off the upright. It would have just been an ultimate slap in the face if we partially block it and it still goes in. But it doesn't. We get the ball. Spiller gets us down to 35, and then we pass, punt. Gailey must have asked Lindell if he could make that, and Lindell must have said no, which is pathetic in my mind because it's a 52-yarder. The guy just made one on the opposite side from 61. Now, I also understand the strategical point of it. You have John Skelton in the game, who's cold quarterback, hasn't played in weeks, and hasn't completed too many passes, only completed 2 passes on you so far. So why not pin him deep? Instead of, if you miss, you set them up in good field position where they only need a couple, 15, 25 yards, about 25 or 30 yards, to get into field goal range for Feely again. And then you lose the game if he makes it. So he elected to pin them deep. I'm guessing this is his thought process, and trust his defense, which ended up being a good decision because Jairus Byrd is the man. He played a phenomenal game. He is definitely one of the more underrated safeties in the league, and they better re-sign him soon. Get that guy under contract. Stat. I was impressed with the way most of the team played. Outside of the quarterback, Fitz didn't impress me again. Chris Harrison did well at left tackle. Sam Young played right guard for a while. They allowed some pressures, but they weren't that great. They're backups. They got backups of backups in there. So it was a pretty good performance. Through and through, Fitz, maybe the exception. As I said, he left a couple first downs on the field and sort of killed drives. Single-handedly killed drives a couple of times. He still has room to improve. He admitted that this week, that he needs to find some rhythm and some consistency early on. He said he's not the best thrower. You just got to keep practicing at it. If the guy's not the best thrower, how does he convince the Bills into giving him $56 million or $59 million? I don't know. But it happened. So let's ride with it. We're 3-3. The whole AFC East is 3-3. Let's go get it. It's a 10-game season. I know we're a little bit behind the 8 ball because we're 0-2 in the division, and I think we need to win at least 3 out of 4 division games from here on out. We need to sweep Miami, take the Jets, probably lose the Patriots, because let's face it. It's there for the taking. Maybe you get some help from some other teams, but you got to help yourself first. We got Tennessee this week. Tennessee's coming off a nice emotional win against Pittsburgh at home, where they fought hard. They came, you know what? And I like teams coming off emotional wins. Games where, kind of like how the Bills just did. I like playing against teams like that because they're kind of set up for that letdown sometimes. But both teams are coming off emotional wins or, roller coaster type of games where they each won on essentially the last play. So we'll see what happens. It's Matt Hasselbeck is starting, who is maybe more efficient than Jake Locker. Jake Locker's obviously got the learning curve, but Hasselbeck's a crafty veteran. They have Chris Johnson, who sometimes gets on track, but we held Jamal Charles to 3 yards rushing, so why can't we hold Chris Johnson to that? I don't know, our run defense. We'll see. It was better this past week, except, Powell got some yards. I don't know how Kevin Cowell ran for 66 yards. That was just ridiculous. But you don't plan on the quarterback doing that to you, and you definitely don't plan on Matt Hasselbeck doing that to you. Tennessee's beatable. They're 2-4. We're 3-3. It's just a game at home that you need to win to set yourself up at 4-3 going into the bye. Now, I know coming out of the bye, we have at Houston, at New England. People probably already have those chalked down as losses, and you know what? Looking at it right now, they'll probably lose those games. But you can't be afraid of them. You can't think about, I guess we'll be 4-5 after that. Like, Houston, New England, those are playoff teams, right? If you want to be a playoff team and compete in the playoffs, you have to beat playoff teams. Now, I'm not saying the Bills have to beat these teams. It would be nice, but it would be nice to see them compete, to see that they might even be on the same level on the road as teams like that. So that's what I'm looking for going forward. But this week, like I said, Tennessee is vulnerable in my eyes. Chris Johnson's the model of inconsistency. He got going a little bit last week against Pittsburgh, which is surprising, but now he's back on the road. I know he thrashed us, I believe, last year or 2 years ago. But let's just continue with that defensive mindset. Gilmore was good on Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald had 5 targets towards Gilmore. 5 targets while he was covered by Gilmore, and only caught 1 ball. It was encouraging to see maybe Gilmore stepping up a little bit. Aaron Williams struggled at times. He's still struggling a little bit. He got benched for McGee at certain times. McKelvin even saw the field. Justin Rogers at corner. It was a mix. Gailey said it was sort of just must have been that guy's turn, I think. Is that what he said? But, there's still some holes. Like I said, there's still some cleaning up to do, as there always is. It's very rarely does the team play a perfect game. Might have been that for the 49ers against the Bills. That might have been it. That's about as perfect as you can play, I think. That said, 49ers are one of the, might be the class of the NFL. The Bills are not, but they are competitive at times. I think they should compete with the Titans. They should beat the Titans. I'm going to pick them to beat the Titans. If you followed me last week, I predicted a heartbreaker. It should have been a heartbreaker, by all means, but it wasn't. That'll put me at 4-2 on the year in terms of predicting the Bills, which isn't bad. Give me a little credit. And I'm going to pick them to beat the Titans this week. Pick the Bills to beat the Titans. 24-17, standard score. Bills will win. Guys, I want to thank you for coming this far. I really appreciate you guys watching these videos, coming this far. If you came this far, 16 minutes, wow, good for you. You're a true Bills fan. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. All those kinds of things, guys. Again, I appreciate you coming out. Enjoy your weekend, and go Bills.